Welcome back, everyone, to this episode of Made in Asia, the podcast for entrepreneurs and creators in the experience and transformation economies in Asia. Today, we are here in Kennedy Town with none other than Shima Shimizu,
Yes.
The founder of FoodCraft Hong Kong.
FoodCraft Hong Kong, yes.
Welcome, Shima.
Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, it's absolutely delightful to be here. We're in Kennedy Town in the FoodCraft store. For all those of you that want to find out more, this is number 21, was it? Am I right? Wing.
Oh, 60, the street number?
Yes.
Number 62 Victoria Road.
62 Victoria Road, but the entrance is on the backside. So,
exactly.
The best way is you go on a website, foodcraft.hk, or go on Instagram, foodcraft_HK.
Yes.
And you can find your way. So 16th floor, here's a beautiful shop, quite massive, 2,000 square feet roundabout.
Something like that.
And they moved it in February. So this is a delightful store. And we have a little kitchen area where we're seated today, where I had a kombucha class not too long ago.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was good. And obviously, there's a lot of other things happening here. Shima, tell us what's happening at FoodCraft.
FoodCraft. We have a lot of cooking classes. I started teaching cooking classes as a business to start off with. But now we have evolved. We do production and even the cooking classes. I have other teachers coming in teaching like coffee appreciation, Indian food, some Chinese cooking. We also do crystals, all sorts. So I kind of put together a wellness, health-oriented classes together here.
Okay, so your mission is to provide healthy, allergy-free alternative foods for customers looking for healthy and tasty nutrition, I guess, or food. So where did that come about? How did you... I mean, this seems to be a very personal journey, right? To arrive for you today. So tell us, how did you end up in with FoodCraft in Hong Kong?
Should I start like from when I was a kid kind of story?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what influenced you, why not? I mean, seems if that's important, yeah.
Okay.
Where did you grow up?
I was born in Japan.
Okay.
I was in the States for 4 years when I was in kindergarten, and then I went back to Japan to go through all the education system in Japan. So I'll pretty much say I'm from Japan.
Okay. Which city?
Born in Tokyo, but I grew up in different cities. So
moved around.
Moved around a lot in Japan.
Yeah.
So, my parents, so the reason why we were moving around because is my parents were working in different universities and they were teaching either physical therapy. My mother's a physical therapist and my father is an occupational therapist.
Okay.
So, whenever I visited my parents, it was always in a hospital setting. And I remember as a child, I hated hospitals. I just hate the smell of it, the quietness of it and just the whole energy, I guess. Yeah. So as a child, I always thought that I wanted to just figure out a way that how I will never end up in a hospital. Like, I just didn't want to be in a hospital. So that's kind of how it started. And I was always into healthy eating. So back in the days, it was in like late 80s. It was all about the fat. So I was like trying to cut fat as much as possible.
Low fat diet, yeah.
Yes, low fat, high sugar, but low fat.
Yeah.
So I was, trying to become creative with how to cut fat, and that was my cooking back in the days. And also my mother was a big influence because she was really into organic. Okay. And also trying to reduce plastic. She was saying that it was toxic and you shouldn't have plastic in your containers. And so,
quite trailblazing for the 90s, right?
Oh yeah. My brother hated it. Like when we had to get mayonnaise from a glass jar, it's so hard to scoop out and compared to that.
Oh yeah. Tube. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that was my mom and I grew up with it. Of course, I didn't think it was cool back in the days, but, it kind of grew on me. And I think it was when I went to university and I started living on my own and I started to really cook for myself. I noticed that when I was on a plant-based diet, my skin changed. Okay. I had a lot of acne. I was really red and I thought it was normal. It's like a teenage thing. But I noticed it wasn't. And so a lot of the vegetables kind of changed me. And then I started to really look into how diet affects you. And since then, like, you know, there's always a new diet on the market. So whatever comes in, I'll be reading about it. I'm trying to, you know, make it myself. And that's how it kind of started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So personal experience gave you the conviction, or you saw it firsthand, basically.
Yeah.
The benefits of what the change in diet can be. Was it a dramatic? How did you end up with a all vegetable diet?
I wasn't a vegan or a vegetarian or anything like that. I just ate more vegetables. I included more vegetables.
Okay.
And I think it was still, the trend was still like low fat. So I thought like eating more vegetables, having less fat was
that makes
the
sense.
thing.
Yeah, and it worked out for the better. Wow. Okay.
It did. Yeah.
And so we're still a few years away from FoodCraft, right? I mean,
pretty much. Yeah. Not
so
there yet.
What happened in between?
Well, you know, you kind of go on with your life and you get a job. And I was working in an office. I came to Hong Kong in 2003 during SARS. So I was, regardless of SARS, I was working in an office until I had an inspiration where I really wanted to go and learn how to make healthy food.
Okay.
And that time, my concept of healthy food have evolved into raw food.
Okay.
A raw vegan diet.
What was the inspiration, if I can ask? Was it like a aha moment, or?
There was. So I was doing yoga like almost every day. Crazy. And I was always very athletic. I was in like track and field and I was running and I would get injured, but I will heal very quickly. But I had a knee injury that didn't go away for like 3 months. And at the time, my senior told me that, you should try and change your diet and that might help your knee.
Wow.
And I thought, that's bizarre, right? It's like diet, knee, but okay, nothing to lose. I'll give it a go. And I tried the raw food diet. And immediately, like within a week, my knee didn't heal, but my mood, my energy level, it started to change, and it was very noticeable. Like I felt the energy coming from inside, and I was really happy about it. And so I thought I have to learn more about this diet, and I looked at the book. It was a Japanese book that I was reading, a recipe book, and the author said she went to this culinary school in California. So I just knew I had to go there.
Okay.
Yeah, it was that weird moment. I had it. And so it was during the financial crisis. I was working for a relocation company, helping people relocate, mostly bankers to relocate to Hong Kong. Nothing was happening. So I told my boss, can I take a no-pay leave? I have something that I want to learn. So can I take like 2 months off? And my boss said, okay, let me get back to you. And when she did come back to me, it was a package.
Wow.
Basically, I was made redundant, but it was good. I was made redundant with some, extra money so that I was sort of forced to go that way.
Okay.
Yeah. No going back.
The calling is a one-way street. Okay.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. So,
okay. And then, what was the name of the school in California?
It was Living Light Culinary Institute, and I don't think it's there anymore.
All right.
Yeah. A lady called Sherry Soria. She was the teacher, the founder, and she was in her 60s, early 60s that time. And when I saw her, she was so vibrant, full of energy. I was really inspired how energetic she was.
Okay. So you went through the school. Any aha moments during school about learning? This is a raw vegetable.
Yeah.
So any vegetables that came at you with surprise out of nowhere where you're like, damn, I didn't know I can make this work.
Zucchini noodles.
Okay, yeah, they're a thing now. Okay.
Yeah, so that was like 2009, and I was really amazed with zucchini noodles. I was eating it every day.
Sure.
I don't do that anymore. But yeah, that was like one thing. And then I think the biggest thing was that you start from desserts.
Okay.
When you do a raw food diet, because that's the way to get people into a raw vegan diet, to amaze them what you can do with fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds.
Still has sugar though, right? In dessert?
Yes.
But healthy sugar, or like less sugar?
Well, there's no processed sugar. There's no white sugar in it.
Right.
but you will use fruit sugars like from fruits or dry fruits. And then that time we were using agave nectar a lot.
Right.
So it's a low glycemic sweetener, which doesn't mess up with your blood sugar levels. But what I did experience was that it was way too much sugar for me. Yeah, way too much. So in the beginning it was good, but then eventually I felt really tired having a high sugar diet in a way.
Okay.
Yeah. After that, I went through the full course, and then I met a lady from Thailand who ran a spa. It's called Rasayana Retreat in Thailand, Bangkok, and Pattaya. And so she was kind enough to offer me a job there, and I decided that after I sort of graduate that place, I want to go straight to Bangkok and really practice my skills. And that's where I learned a lot, like much more than being in the school.
Well, working in a kitchen is a one-time master in a lifetime. Right? Once in a lifetime master for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
And was it more Thai-oriented food, or was it sort of everything?
Did have a lot of Thai-oriented foods, especially using a lot of coconuts and pineapples, local bananas. They have so many different types of bananas. And also, I think founder Yui, she personally likes, I think she grew up in Arizona, so she likes Mexican food, like American Cali-Mex, should I call it? California style Mexican food. Yeah. So there's a lot of Mexican influence in the recipes.
Thai Mexican. Okay.
Yeah, Thai Mexican.
Okay, and then you came back to Hong Kong eventually. Was that the plan from the beginning, or?
I wasn't sure where I was heading. I was just going with the flow. It was really an interesting moment that you just follow your intuition and just go with it. And I had no plans whatsoever. But I did miss Hong Kong. That's so funny. I always felt I'm home when I'm in Hong Kong, and I'm not from Hong Kong.
Yep.
But yeah, so I wanted to come back, and I did. And I had absolutely zero plans, zero connections. So the only thing I could do was to teach cooking classes.
Okay.
I didn't have my space, so I popped up in different places and different stores, helped them promote their ingredients, but processing it in a raw way. And also I did some Japanese cooking classes here and there because I'm Japanese.
Obviously. There's sushi classes too.
Yeah, there is.
Those are monthly, by the way, or how often do you normally?
Monthly.
Monthly?
Yeah.
Okay. So how easy was that, getting into somebody's store and telling, let me show you how to cook with your items? I mean, was that an easy thing to get about? It was really tedious to get it started. Was it a good time, or?
Getting in the store wasn't that hard.
Okay.
A lot of stores did need sort of a promoter or people to teach people
showcasing and that.
Exactly how to use the equipment or how to use the ingredients, whatever it is. But what was hard was the preparation, just like you set up this whole entire thing in.
It took us 5 minutes, guys. This is without Eunice, it would take us 2 hours. But yeah, we got Eunice here, so we're in good shape. Don't worry.
Yes. So it's the same with cooking classes. When it's not your location, you don't know where the salt is, the pepper is. You start from there, right? And then where's the knife? And is the knife that I like to use? And, you say you have a food processor, but the food processor is not this size, it's this size. And you get all those different things. So I had to carry so many things to different places, including the ingredients. When I did my very first cooking class, I thought, I'm never going to do this again. Yeah, so that was the hard part.
What was it about? Was it about Japanese food or no?
No, I did a raw vegan cooking class in a pots and pans store,
right? Which
is not, here anymore.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's not very obvious though to have a raw vegan course in a pots and pans store, no?
They didn't like it. They didn't like it because they thought it doesn't involve cooking, it doesn't involve tools. But that's not true. We use a lot of tools.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you ran that for a few years?
Yes, I did run it for a few years. And during those years, my business had evolved. So I started to take on different projects. Especially what I noticed in Hong Kong is that people are so busy that even though I teach them how to make food,
there's no time. Unless it's COVID. Yeah.
Exactly.
Pre-COVID, nobody had time for nothing.
No.
Yeah.
So they will say, I actually like what you made for me. Can you make it for me?
Yeah.
So I got a lot of those requests. And then I got enough that I eventually had to set up my kitchen.
Okay. So what kind of items did you start with?
Production was kale chips and some cookies, like gluten-free cookies, and coconut yogurts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the coconut yogurt is the main item, I guess, right?
That's how I really got started with production, I'll say.
What's the benefit of a coconut yogurt? Just that it's dairy-free?
That's the biggest thing, dairy-free. Okay. Yeah, so if you can avoid dairy, gluten, sugar in your diet, you're way ahead of the trend.
Okay, and I guess more and more people do have some health issues or nutritional restrictions about what they can.
A lot.
Okay. So what do you cover here? I mean, we're jumping ahead, but this is a store that offers a lot of specialized dietary ingredients. So what we got?
We got gluten-free.
Dairy-free.
Dairy-free. We got nut-free. We got, like, keto is the thing at the moment. High fat, low sugar.
Yep.
And then, what else? Paleo.
Just the opposite?
It's not really opposite, but it's more like a caveman diet. So you eat like a caveman.
Huh.
Yeah. So it does, it's not vegan. You're allowed to have grass-fed beef or, meat.
Sustainable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. What else we got? No sugar?
We have no sugar, no white sugar.
Low FODMAP? FOD?
Oh, FODMAP. Yes. We have, we don't really cater for it, but we do have a description for that. So if you're looking for those items, we do have a few. Okay.
And how do people find you? They Google about, this is my diet. I need somebody to give me good stuff.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I guess they hear from the doctor or maybe they learn from internet. So they will Google our stuff, and most of our traffic comes from Google at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, and you can order online obviously as well, right?
Yes. We started as an online store, and that is our core business at the moment.
Okay. So still, what is it, 80-20 you would say maybe? A bit more?
Oh, online sales and in-store sales? Maybe 90-10. Yeah.
So, but this is your main warehouse here? You do everything from this location?
No, we have a production kitchen upstairs.
Okay.
That's where we make all the magic happen. And here is the retail store, warehouse, and cooking class.
Right. And so how many of the things you sell, you make yourself?
Whatever's under FoodCraft, we make here. Yeah. Okay. Whatever's branded is imported or reselling it. Yeah, and I carefully select the items that we resell.
Okay. And there's about 800 items that you run about?
No, we have I think 2,000.
Oh wow.
items.
Okay.
Yes, we have a lot.
Growing fast. Okay. and what do you see as the most, where is it the specialized diets that people look out for, or is it more about being healthy? Is it more the trend part, or is it the actual need to have the right food?
I think our customers are informed. So if you're doing shopping here, you have a reason for it. You're either on a special diet, or you have to avoid certain foods, or you're trying to improve your health.
Okay.
Yeah.
Improving health is important. We all should do that. Keep exercising. Keep eating right. Okay, so that's come a long way then, since you moved into your new space here. And after 4 years, I guess, 5 years, something like that.
It's 6 years now.
6 years.
Yeah, 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you expect to end up here when you started out, or what was your?
Oh, I didn't know where I was heading, but I went with the flow, and it was scary to sign the first contract.
The lease, you mean?
The lease. Yeah, the lease.
Always, in Hong Kong, that's the most intimidating thing you can do, probably.
So scary. But I was committed. I knew that I had to do it, even though I was so scared. I had to do it. So, that was 6 years ago when I signed the lease here. Before that, I rented a kitchen and that was a bit easier, but here was because I had to do the renovation and, hire people and full on production. It's no longer my husband used to call it a expensive hobby that I was doing, but it's no longer a hobby anymore.
You're now full-time.
Full-time. Oh, okay. Yes.
How many people are working with you?
We have 10 people.
10 people. Okay. And they're full-time all the time.
8 of them are full-time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is growing more than you anticipated, or you just...
Well, I always wanted to grow it. And I think, funny enough, COVID kind of pushed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until then, it was kind of organically growing, and COVID was...
And so in what way? That people do the cooking classes more, or they
both
actually care about what they eat?
It's a combination of different things. So I guess cooking classes, yes, they're bored maybe and they can't travel. So they look into what you can do.
Some people do kombucha. God knows why.
I don't know why.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, so we get people doing kombucha. The biggest thing last year was sourdough classes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So the cooking class is there, and then also the online shopping. Before COVID, I don't think people in Hong Kong were comfortable to shop food online. Yeah, you have markets and you can get things like you check it and then you buy things. So that was the buying habit. Whereas COVID forced you to stay home, order food from your couch.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, right? So.
And you're home when it arrives, right? Or there's somebody at home when it arrives.
Exactly.
So yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what challenges did you not see? I mean, say, apart from the lease, which is the intimidating part, any other challenges that you were like?
Oh, constant.
Okay.
As any other business, I'll say, there's always different challenges. Like, I don't know, it can be, well, for COVID, it was the ingredients. You didn't know what was going to run out. And you didn't know when you can get it back in again. So during COVID, that was one big thing.
For the production upstairs, mainly, right?
Yeah. Like suddenly you run out of almonds and you can't find almonds anywhere. Just like it happened with the flour, right?
Yeah.
So things disappear suddenly.
Okay. There's a market sells out. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And selling, how is it? So your main business is the online store. Was that, and I'm not sure you set up other online stores before, but how was that experience of figuring out
it was
the providers and platforms? There's a lot of different ways you can go about it, right?
Yeah. I always wanted to set an online store for some reason, like from a very early stage. So it was very natural for me to come up with the concept of online stores, and especially in Hong Kong. There was no way I was going to open up a street level store that sells like weird stuff like us.
80,000, a square foot.
Yeah. No, so online store was always my option, and setting it up wasn't that hard. There's a lot of platforms these days that even if you don't know anything about IT, well, I won't say anything, but even if you know the basics, you can set up your store very easily. But you do need some help with like graphics and designing or mapping your website, like how what do you call the UX, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. So how to find your products. Yeah.
Very easy on the website. So I have to say, well done. Did you switch providers at any point, or is it the first one you stuck with it all the way?
Yeah, all the way.
Okay. Easy. Yeah. Migrating websites, it's a whole different story.
I don't want to think about that.
Well, lucky that you found the right one, right? From the get-go.
I guess so.
Yeah. And how did you come about that? Did you do your research and
recommendation?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that goes a long way. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of specialized items that you sell. Is the yogurt still the thing? The coconut yogurt is the main, the head settler. What do you call this? The cash cow, for lack of a better word.
One of them. Yeah, okay. Still one of our popular items, but we have other star items as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about in the classes? What's popular in the classes?
I'll say still sourdough class. Okay. Yeah, people are still interested in learning how to make sourdough. But other things are growing as well, like fermentation. People come to make kombucha. Yeah, I don't know why, but and also they come to make miso. I teach how to make miso.
Okay, from scratch.
From scratch.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, and Japanese pickles. And then what else? And then the homemade sushi class is pretty fun. I think it's more for non-Asian people, but you know, Asians are welcome as well.
The eating part is the best.
It is.
Yeah. Okay. And are you going to add any more classes, you think, or is this a constant evolving sort of offering?
Yeah. And then we also listen to requests. So if you have a request of a class, we'll consider it and create a new class.
Okay. And also for children, right?
Yes, we do for children now that we have this space.
Okay. So could you do kids party here? Like a birthday party? Yeah. Is that a good fun thing?
Yeah. And then if you have 4 people or more, we will do a private class.
Okay.
Yeah. So bring your own booze and it's
not
your
for
space.
the kids party, but
Yeah.
for the chaperones, we can do that.
The bigger kids.
Yeah, the bigger kids. Exactly. Right. So, okay. Let's shift gears a little bit. Talk about diets. Is it better to have proteins, carb, or veggies? What do you...
They're all important. Protein, carbs, veggie, they're all important.
Everybody loves carbs.
They do. A little bit too much these days.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah. So I'm really an advocate of a low sugar diet. I think sugar has messed with us so much that we're getting sick.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you can avoid sugar, that will be the best thing.
Sick in what way, by the way?
Sick in, different levels, but it can be like a brain fog or feeling tired all the time or feeling irritated. That's also the beginning of an illness, I'll say. And then it can go on to, diabetic or even like cancer or, it's an evolution. So it always starts at a level that you don't really notice, but you're actually heading towards that way.
And it's ubiquitous, right? I mean, processed sugar is almost everywhere.
Oh, yes.
I walk in a 7-Eleven, there's...
sugar.
Yeah, it's basically different shapes and forms, right?
Exactly.
It's a celebration of sugar in there.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. But it sells and they're everywhere, right?
Exactly. It's addictive.
Yeah, okay. Probably it is. It must be, right? Otherwise, it's like coffee is everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we handle our balancing between carbs and veggies and proteins? Do you help map out a diet too here? Or, is that for everybody for themselves to figure out at this stage?
Yes. There's no one fit for all kind of diet. So if you're really struggling with some kind of health challenges, I will highly recommend you to go and see a professional, maybe even get a blood test done. Then you will have much more information of what kind of diet suits you or what should you put in or more like what should you take out.
Okay.
Yeah, we always think about, we need that supplement or we need to take this, that, this. But I think it's more about taking out the stuff that doesn't agree with our diet.
Yeah, supplements are a big deal, right?
It is.
Are you offering that too or are you staying clear for now?
We have a little bit of we have prebiotics, but and some collagen boosters, but I think that's about it. And we're more about real food here.
Real food, okay, yeah.
Yes.
So what's real food then? Real
food, things that your grandmother can recognize.
Okay. She gave me a lot of chocolate. I guess I'm in good shape. I'm okay for real food. Yeah, good baking though. I gotta give credit to grandma. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. German bakery is legendary. So yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, with yeast. So fermenting a full circle. You see where we're coming?
Yes.
Okay. So then, what do you enjoy most? Is it the sourdough part? Is it the fermenting? What have you discovered where you're really passionate about?
Cooking wise?
Yeah, or in the whole FoodCraft journey
FoodCraft journey. It's a constant learning journey. So, throughout the 10 or 11 years that I have been doing this, I changed myself. And for example, the recipes that I developed early on, I thought it was the best thing at that time. But now...
Was it?
I wouldn't eat it.
Okay.
So it's ever evolving. And I think I enjoy the process of learning new things and adapting it.
Okay.
Trying it out myself and see how I feel.
Okay. So right now you have fresh sauerkraut, I guess, in the fridge. I saw it. I haven't tasted it. Gets better by the day. So you got to pace yourself eating that. Otherwise, you lose out on the good flavors there. What else? Sauerkraut? What else we got?
Sauerkraut. Oh, there's so many things. And we're big on vegan cheeses.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have a lot of nut-based or plant-based cheeses as an option. And we do baking, a lot of gluten-free baking. We only bake to order so that you can't just walk in and say, I want a gluten-free sourdough. You have to order up front and then let us know that you're going to come pick it up or we can deliver it to you. So gluten-free baking.
Gluten-free means always sourdough, or is there another sort of twist on a gluten-free bread?
Yeah, we have, we have a range of gluten-free sourdoughs, like that has vegan cheese in it or olives, or we have like a matcha chocolate fancy one. Yeah, so we have different types, but we also have like gluten-free banana cakes, brownies. We have like 4 different types of gluten-free brownies. And gluten-free cookies. So okay,
so you don't have to lose out just because you're on a gluten-free diet. So
absolutely,
there's plenty of goodies out there.
Yeah, and gluten-free has evolved so much. It's not like the cardboard, brittle, stuff that we were used to. Our sourdough, the gluten-free sourdough, is amazing. I actually like it more than the normal sourdough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Tall order. What do your kids say about all this? Are they on board, or are they like hesitant with some of the more exotic items? Because you said with your parents, you thought it wasn't cool when your mom cooked. What do your kids think? They think it's cool?
They think it's uncool.
Some things never change. So what are you going to do? Are you going to try to convince them, or no? Just let them be? They
have their own journey. The best I can do is to keep the stuff, like the very sugary stuff, out of the house. So we try not to buy it. They do get a treat once a week and they can choose one sugary item. They're very happy about it. But if you don't give them that opportunity, then what I would have done is to go to my friend's house and grab all the junk from my friends. So I don't want my kids to be doing that. So they get a chance to have their treats. And they're also exposed to the stuff that I make and the stuff that I really want them to be eating on.
Okay. Yeah. Any crowd pleasers?
Crowd pleasers. They like the keto breads, the keto muffins that I make.
Okay.
They're really good. Even if it doesn't taste healthy, put it that way.
Okay. That's important.
Exactly. Like once you say, hey, this is healthy, eat it, then people are like, maybe not. Like it won't taste good. Blind tasting
effect is to the advantage, right?
Yeah. So you don't say it's healthy. You don't say anything about it. You just put it on the table. It looks like a muffin. They will eat it. It tastes good. So they will keep eating it.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Now I feel like having a muffin. Okay. Okay, so obviously you mentioned earlier the holistic part is something that you're quite passionate about. So tell us more about your approach or the approach to holistic wellness. What does it include? Because it's more than just food, right?
Yes, absolutely. But food is just one piece of the puzzle. So health involves your mental health, your physical health, and maybe even spiritual health. So all those have to work in harmony to make yourself really healthy and, be your best self. So it's not just because, I'm always eating organic, I'm going to be healthy. No, it's the entire thing. So that's what I really experienced myself. And I do want to share with as much as I can. And I'm really appreciating this podcast because this is the way to get people maybe even know more about it. Because it's not really out there. It's not available. And people think that health, if you get a problem, you go to the doctors and you fix it. No, it's an everyday practice that you do for yourself. Because if you're not at your best, how are you going to be the best for other people?
Absolutely. Interesting, because we had in our first podcast was with a meditation instructor, Berna Lee. So that's part of, holistic wellness as well, or well-being. That includes the spiritual side, obviously, as well. Environment is also important, right? And community and all that.
Yes.
So for now, are you just looking at the food part here? Or, I mean, you have a bit of community, I guess, with your cooking classes, but are you looking to grow more into the holistic side of things? Or what's your...
Obviously, my strength is the cooking part, and if I can be any help, then it will be the cooking part. I can teach people how to cook, or what ingredients to choose. But I do also invite other teachers that can help with the spiritual side or the mental side, or even like holistic practitioners, like Ayurvedic teachers. And also I would really like to work with a doctor, so that I know doctors are very busy and they might recommend their patients to go on, say, a gluten-free diet. But if the patient is totally new to gluten-free, a lot of people don't know what is gluten. Gluten is the protein in wheat, and not many people know about that. So they would think glutinous rice has gluten. So that sort of stuff, maybe I can step in there and support, the medical scene. I don't know. I'm open to any opportunity where I can be help.
Yeah, because there's no real education about nutrition, right? If you go through a normal schooling, or most schools don't really address maybe a bit in biology, or maybe if you have a subject that's more geared towards, I don't know what's that called nowadays, but I've been out of high school in a long time ago.
Same here.
But yeah, as a kid, at least in our days, I guess, we didn't learn much about nutrition in a proper way. And back then it was sort of the pyramid with like carbs.
Yeah.
And then some other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Which was not the right pyramid. I mean, there's a pyramid, I guess, but that's changed over time as well, how people perceive that, right?
Exactly. And some people still follow that pyramid, which is pretty much designed by the food industry. So,
It's Coca-Cola on top, right? I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good Coke can be nice, but... So, what's a good way for people to figure this out? Do they still have to go on the internet? I mean... Are you offering classes for that, or where do you see this opportunity going forward?
Well, I don't really offer a nutrition class because I'm not a nutritionist.
Yeah.
But I will sprinkle hints here and there in the cooking classes. And if that is sort of an inspiration, because there is a reason that you came to the cooking class already. You may or may not notice it, but you're shifting towards something to make you either feel better or relieve yourself from some kind of pain. So if those sprinkles will help you bloom or, develop a really good understanding about health, that will be great. But yeah, I'm still what I'm doing at the moment is probably making healthier choices easier for people, making it more accessible and more convenient. Because if it's hard to make, who's going to make it? Right? If you look at a recipe and it has like 15 ingredients that you don't know what it is, then probably you won't make that dish. So I try to develop recipes that are like super simple, can be made in like, 5-10 minutes. Yeah, that sort of stuff. It's on my blog. It's on the FoodCraft website. We have a recipe blog. So if you check there, you'll find a few recipes that are super easy to make.
Okay.
Yeah.
People are not as busy right now anymore. Anyway, you can't go out so much. So the COVID booster is still in effect, I guess, to some extent, right?
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, well, it would be nice if COVID comes to an end. But yeah.
Yeah.
In the interest of your business, let's keep it rolling for a while. Okay. Now, in terms of the holistic approach, you said it's much about awareness, right? People are just sort of it's not on everybody's radar.
Yeah.
Which one do you think has the biggest potential? Is it food, where you see it's the easiest to get gains towards wellness, or
it might?
Are you biased, but just by your background?
It's only food.
Yeah. Who doesn't like to eat?
I guess food and also fitness. I think people are really into working out. Going to the gym has become like a habit, like you brush your teeth, you go to the gym. So it can be either way, you can start from food and then notice the difference, and then you'll feel the energy level and then start going to the gym. That's okay too. And then it can be vice versa. Like you start going to the gym thinking that you're going to build more muscles, and hey, it's not working. Like not only exercise works, and then you change your diet and then you see it's, a dramatic change. So it can be different ways of the approach, I think.
Okay. So it's everybody's own sort of journey.
Yeah.
To figuring out what's needed. Yeah. Because I think it's an awareness factor. Somebody needs to see what the difference is.
Yeah.
And as you said, it can be many different areas, right? Yes. It could be also on the spiritual side. It could, and then you open a few more doors, right? And you sort of figure out what's behind, like on a Christmas calendar almost. Only with good chocolate.
Again, chocolate.
Hey, I'm kind of hungry. I don't know why. I didn't have lunch. Maybe that's a problem. But yeah. And we're surrounded by food. Imagine that. We're giving a podcast surrounded. Anyway, I'll get some sauerkraut later. Okay. So, having come all this way, what's next? I mean, where do you see FoodCraft going? You've expanded. Would you go overseas? I mean, are you committed to Hong Kong? What's your take for now?
Well, it's hard to see myself expanding overseas with this kind of situation. So
post-COVID.
Post-COVID, yeah. Let's see what happens. I'm open to, like I was always, I'm open to anything, whatever the universe or, the future brings to me. But at the moment, I'm really focused on getting, my business established in Hong Kong. Yeah. And it's a full-time job. I work from like 8 a.m. to 6 or 7 p.m. And even if I go home, of course, I'm still thinking about food. Not that I'm hungry, but like, what can I do better? I'm always thinking about that. And, every time I go out, it's always an inspiration, or it's in me. That's me. So, my focus now is to do the best what I can do in Hong Kong.
Okay. And obviously we're still going through COVID. And in terms of growing, so you go out there, promote yourself. You've been in some magazines, I think, right? So you used to the usual levers and of the Hong Kong community. Where do you focus on right now to get the word out?
The word out. I think the internet will do a huge job. It has been doing, like, if you are seeking for information, you have all the information in your hand, literally. So just by putting it out there on the internet space or the cyberspace, hopefully, people who are seeking for the answer will catch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you collab with gyms, or I mean, would you collaborate with anyone, or how does it work right now? That you're looking for chefs, or still for the pots and pan stores, or what are you looking out there for people listening? Want to see how they can do something with FoodCraft.
At the moment, I'm just working in-house,
okay.
So we're doing things that we can do within this space. We're always open to collaboration. It doesn't have to be in the same food industry. It can be totally different, like say the pet industry, because, it's the same with human beings and pets. We got to be eating the right things. Eating pet food may not be the right thing for your pet. So that sort of stuff, it can be totally different, but I'm sure there's places that we can work together with other businesses.
Okay. And where do you source your ingredients for the sauerkraut? Is that from local vendors? Is it all organic, or how do you select your ingredients as you go about?
We have different ranges. So we do have organic line and we do have the conventional line. Obviously, organic is going to cost you more. So we do make it more accessible with the conventional line as well. And the thing that we really focus is that we use real food. And we don't add any preservatives or additives or coloring or any kind of thing that your grandmother won't recognize.
My grandma, man, that's a whole different topic. There's a podcast on its own. But, okay, so you stick to the basics. And the shelf life, kind of, unless it's fermented, obviously the shelf life is a bit shorter then, right?
Yes.
Particularly in Hong Kong with the humidity.
Yes.
Even the best sourdough will go a bit mushy after a while. Right?
It will. Yeah.
So what's that? 3 days you can keep it normally?
Sourdough, yes, I'll say 3 days. I do recommend you just slice it and put it in the freezer if you're not going to eat it on the day.
Right.
And then a lot of other things, the shelf life is shorter. So that's why we can't really make it to supermarket shelves because they don't want anything that is going to expire like in 2-3 months.
Right.
Yeah.
And your cheeses, the vegan cheeses?
Oh, no. They don't, maybe a month or two, depends on the type of cheese, but yeah.
No cheese lasts that long in my house. But
it disappears.
Magically. Okay. So shelf life is an issue, and I guess delivery. How does that work? You go on a website, you go on a basket and check out, and then it shows up
magically. Yes.
The next day.
It can be so if you order before 12 noon, it will be delivered the next day. If it's after 12, then it will be delivered the following day. Okay. But if you're like in a super rush, we do have an on-demand delivery. If you pay an extra $80, we will follow a time, like a 2-hour window, and we'll deliver it. And
you handle your distribution yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Is that easy, or is it just, depending on the number of orders that comes in?
At the moment, it's manageable. So, yeah, we do it in-house.
Okay. Cool. All right. Now, we always have a thing where we talk about advice. So, what advice, if somebody's listening and they're like, oh, maybe I could live better or more well, what advice would you tell someone that's sort of listening to this is like, yeah, maybe there's a point about all this talk? Right. What? How do you go on the internet? You Google and find out how do you learn to
live well?
Yeah.
I guess maybe you want to focus on what you want to change, and that can be very personal. Say you might want to change your body shape, or it can be skin tone or whatever it is. And then if you notice what you want to change, then you can Google that.
So you have a goal, basically, right?
Yeah.
Then you can work backwards.
Exactly. Set a goal and really find the cause of what is causing the things that you want to change.
So you're like too sleepy, or you don't sleep well.
Yeah.
Or you have too much weight, which is
common.
What else? You don't sleep well. You constipation, stuff like that. Yeah.
Bloating, a huge thing, and then even allergies. Like if you're constantly like itchy, or that say if you eat seafood, you get a reaction. It's not really the seafood; it's how your body is processing it. So you want to look into how can I improve that. So I think the question's around there. Okay, and then you pretty much to yourself to figure out how to work the way back, right? Once you have the goal identified, you do your own research, and then eventually you end up in FoodCraft. Exactly. Magically. Okay. How about the cooking part then? So then you know what, but doesn't mean you can figure out how difficult is it to cook gluten-free versus with gluten diet? I mean, obviously there's ingredients, but is that all it is? Just to choose the right ingredients and then everything's the same? Or do you need to be more, learn some new skills, or like in your raw, in your culinary school in California? Yeah. What new techniques did you learn there? Like how to use a food processor. I never really used a food processor until I went to that raw culinary school. Now everybody has one, so I think even I bought one. Jesus. You did? Yes, I did. Oh. German one, I should add. Yeah. But, they're more ubiquitous now too, right? Yes. I guess. Yes. At least for people that cook a bit more or are around the house. If you're always traveling, then you obviously don't need one. Yeah. Okay, so food processor, blender. Some people want food dehydrators, or even a good oven. Okay. Yeah. Yes, oven. I bought an oven too. Guess what? How do I know? I don't know. A steaming function too. Yeah, I should add that. Okay. Yeah. So then you have the techniques, and then it's just a matter of knowing how to cook. Yeah, and also practice. It's the same with anything else. You just have to get in there, get your hands dirty, and try out the recipes, and you figure it out. How many tries for a recipe before you think you can? 3 times? 4, 5? It depends on your skill.
Okay, let's say poor skill. High ambition, poor skill. Where do we end up?
Well, okay. It really depends. But I think, say, really go through a recipe 2 times, and it should become yours.
Anything that,
yeah,
in terms of mistakes, easy mistakes.
Yeah.
Or people just, you don't measure it the right way, or
it happens, and you just learn from that.
Okay. Or you don't get the heat right.
Yeah, that happens too.
Okay.
It happens to me all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So you just have to learn from it. And the more you do it, you will start to sense, oh, okay, this is not going the right way. I have to fix the direction. And you get better at fixing up things.
Okay. Crisis management.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So if you want to know more about nutrition and call also living well, how can you... Is it all about self-research, or have you found or come across other courses or offerings that you would say this is a good way to level up in that space? Because as you said earlier, a lot of people, they say like, oh, make sure you get your protein, or you should eat your vegetables. It was like, oh, why did you eat breakfast? You know, all these sort of common beliefs and misconceptions about food.
Yeah.
How can, if somebody wants to say, hey, I need to figure out how to, awareness is there. So is it back to the internet?
Or you can read some books. I do listen to a lot of podcasts.
Okay. Made in Asia.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. Just be hungry for information. And if you're really suffering from something, then do go to see a doctor. And, not just try to fix the symptoms that are showing on the surface or what you're feeling, but really ask the doctor, what is the cause of this?
Right.
Yeah. Then you can start improving your health, I think.
And any podcasts that stand out where you say this is the best nutrition podcast, or the top 2? Any? Aside
from Made in Asia?
Well, we're not only about nutrition, but in your space, what podcasts do you listen to?
I like to listen to Dave Asprey's Bulletproof Radio.
Okay.
Yeah, they talk...
This is from the Bulletproof Coffee side?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Got it.
It's pretty geeky, but he talks about really new things, new technologies. He calls it biohacking. And it's very interesting. And he has a lot of guests that are professional in the field. So I always learn something new. It can be, something about food. It can be something about your mental health or, I highly recommend that one.
Bulletproof
Radio.
Okay. Any other one?
The other one is, it's not really a podcast, but I do like Mark Hyman, Dr. Mark Hyman. He's a doctor in the States, and he's a holistic, I'm not quite sure the title, but he's a doctor, a medical doctor who does a holistic approach. And he has a few books. He talks about vegan diet, which is like a paleo diet plus vegan diet together. He's not saying it's either vegan or it's either paleo. It's like together. So he has an interesting theory there. And he also talks about food fix, like how he really wants to change how the big food, meaning like the big corporate food, is affecting our health. And he's trying to change the system, which I think is really, really brave.
Yeah, good luck. I mean,
it's a lot of work, but if you listen to what he talks about, it makes a lot of sense. And so I do listen to his, what was the program? One is Broken Brain.
Broken Brain.
Yeah. Okay. He started from Broken Brain, the video series. And he talks about how our mental health, how our brain is affected by the environment.
I think I saw it on the plane. This was during a time when I was still flying. But broken. I think that rings a bell. Yeah, something about how sugar, impacts you. Yeah. Okay.
So that's how we started, and then he also talks about overall health, and it's really interesting. So a lot of information is out there.
Broken Brain.
Broken Brain.
Doctor, what was his name?
Mark Hyman.
Mark Hyman. Okay. Cool. So Bulletproof Radio. Okay. And Mark Hyman. Those are the 2 gurus to follow. Anyone else? That's good. You think that's a good start?
I can go on.
Okay. Maybe anybody can reach out to Shima on the FoodCraft _HK Instagram. Mm-hmm. I guess on your website, there's also contact details, foodcraft.hk.
Yes.
You can check that out. Any questions or any follow-ups? Okay, so what do you think for the next 10 years? Mm-hmm. This is our closing question almost. We're almost there on the hour. Next 10 years, what's going to happen in the space of wellness and nutrition? I mean, you've been in it for 6 or longer.
Yeah.
We've bought the food processor.
Yes.
We got the oven.
Yes.
Dehydrating, not yet, but maybe a sous vide or something. But in all reality, so what's going to happen in the next 10 years?
My prediction?
Yeah. Is any new trends or, I mean, what's the
trends,
we just see more of nutrition or like better nutrition out there? What do you think is going to happen?
My prediction is that we're going to see a split. So the people who are informed or want to be informed are going to discover more about that and really build their health towards, because you can really control your own health. And this is a big thing to say, but if you have your mindset right and the tools around you, you can be responsible of your own health. So there will be a group of people that discover that and then move more towards that way. And then on the other hand, there will be people who are deprived from the information and they will get even sicker maybe. And you don't want to be on that side. Yeah.
So the awareness kind of comes a two-lane street, sort of two-lane society almost.
I guess so. That's okay. Well, I think it's already happening, to be honest. But it will be even more obvious, just like the economy, like the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It's going to be the same with health.
So is it a matter of affordability, the awareness?
No, it's not about affordability. Well, okay. Yes, I will say unhealthy food is more affordable in a way, but it's also the way you choose, because if it really matters to you, you are going to open up your wallet and you're going to pay for it. But if you don't know the value of it, then it doesn't mean anything to you. It's just something that is expensive and fancy. Yeah. Right? But you're not looking at the doctor bills. You're not looking at your medical bills. You're not seeing how much the society is paying for healthcare. And I hope people will wake up to that and really notice how important it is as a collective to be responsible of your own health.
Yeah, I'm not an expert, but even if you go to a Chinese doctor, they don't really tell you what you should. I mean, they sometimes say, "Oh, don't eat shrimp," right? This kind of stuff. But this is every doctor tells you to watch your cholesterol, and then they give you other stuff to kind of address your ailments rather than taking things out, as you say, right?
Yeah.
So, are you hopeful that there'll be a change for the better, or?
It's hard to say. I wish so. I really do wish so. I want this society to be healthier and happier, but it requires work, and not many people are open to changes and really looking at the truth. Looking at the truth is scary. So a lot of people want to ignore it. And well, it depends on how painful it gets, I guess.
Okay.
Just like the climate change. When it's in your face, then you start to reduce the amount of plastic that you use.
Okay. Are you low plastic here? I guess you are,
We
right?
try. We try our best. Yeah.
And sauerkraut comes in glass jars.
It does.
Yeah. Tastes good too. I mentioned before, maybe. All right. Well, Shima, we're up on time.
Yes.
It's been a quick hour.
It was a blast.
So fast. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun, right?
It was fun.
So thanks so much for being with us, and thanks for listening in and watching. This was our 10th episode, Made in Asia, the podcast about entrepreneurs and creators in the experience and transformation economies in Asia. Shima Shimizu is the founder and founder of FoodCraft Hong Kong. Yes. And also a raw vegetable chef, is it? Former.
Yeah.
Okay. Graduated on. Okay, but you still got the tricks, right? I mean,
I can teach raw food.
Okay, there you go. So if you want to get in touch, you can find links on our website or on the link also on the YouTube. It's all out there on the blog, and obviously you can get in touch and follow on Instagram FoodCraft_HK. So we'll be back. Hopefully it won't be as long a break as after before this episode, because we all had things to do. But thanks so much, Shima.
Thank you.
This was fun.
It was fun. Let's do it again.
Let's grow the awareness about what well-being includes out there.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.